Hello. So let's take a look at this this code here, and that I made recently to convert some text into speech with the Google APIs that we can install into we can use with Python doing pip install gtts. Okay, as I have already done it, it should say requirement already satisfied. In fact, it does. So if you haven't, it will install it. So how this works, I will slowly tell you that this is the function that makes speak the computer on the fly, let's say so. And want to get rid of something here that it's not useful anymore. So what this does is to create an empty space of the memory that we can call with this name, and then we convert the text into speech with the class gtts, introduce object instance. We write into a temporary side of the memory, and we store it into this object we made it before with bytes.io, so it will be stored into mp3-4. Then we will put this to the zero kind of, well, if you don't do this line of code, it will give you an error. Now will not explain it, just take it as it is. And I want to initialize the Pygame.mixer that is useful to play some audio. We don't save anything here, so because we are using this space in the memory, and then we load the sound into create the sound object in Pygame, taking it from this temporary object, and then finally we play it. So where we take this, okay, so we have to take this text, put it into this function, and let's see who activated this function. This function is activated by this alt function that sends the text to this function here, the text and the language. It's English by default. We want to talk in Italian like this. And who calls this other function that sends the text to speak and fly, that we can also call speech fly because it doesn't save anything, because we could save the mp3 and then play it. We don't want to save anything, so we are going to do it using this space in memory with this method that I showed you. So let's delete something that you can see more clearly. So you could speak one, and this calls this one. Okay, and we initialize Pygame here with this. As third thing, we need to import Pygame and gtts. Here we do not import Pygame because we are importing another module called button, and in this module here, where we get the button that we want to have on the screen, it's like this. So we don't want to worry too much about this, and because it just creates the button. When it's clicked, it takes an action, takes place, so we can click and call a function once we clicked. Okay, so let's go back to this guy here, to the main file. So we said we got these two functions here. This one converts the text into an temporary audio files and make it play by pygame.mixer. And this one sends the text that it has to be converted into a speech. Okay, after these two functions, we initialize Pygame. We give it the window of Windows. The window that will appear will have this name. It will be this big with Pygame display.set mode. We created the clock object to control the frame rate. We don't need this, and we created the button with this module that I showed you here. How we create the button? We create it by giving a name to the instance of the class button, and we give it the text that will be written on the button. We give the size of the text, and we give the wrap command that will lead to the function that will be called when we click on the button. So when we click on the button, it will go to speak one. Speak one will send this text to speechfly that will convert it and play it. Okay, once we've done this, we have not finished because we need to create the loop cycle that will go on infinitely until you end it with the click of the X button on the window to close it. So this is an infinite loop started with while. So while is running, and is running, we created here, put it like equal true, so it's equal true or 1 if you prefer, it's same thing. So while this is 1 or this is true, these lines will go on forever. What they will do, they will, for event and pygame.get, if vendor type equal pygame quit, it's running equal false. So this for loop inside the while loop will just iterate every frame this list of events called pygame.event.get. This list is empty normally, but if you press the mouse or press the key, some item that are linked to the event that you've done will go into this list. And so we can capture the event of the user. If the event type is equal pygame.quit, that means this. You see this window? The pygame.quit is this. If the user goes here and clicks, this for Pygame is this event is stored into pygame.quit variable, let's say so. So if the event type is pygame.quit, that means if user quits window, it's the window. If user quits window with the X button, okay, this one, and is running, that you remember is true or 1, will become false or 0. So when this run, if this is 1, it will not run anymore. If it's 0, it will stop running and exit immediately from this loop, from everything it's under is this part here. You see indentation, as you know with Python. If you get an indentation, means that these lines follows this column here, and there's 4 spaces or 1 tab away from the previous line of code. This means that this is executed after this. If there is a certain condition, in this case, if is running is 1. So once this, you press the X button and quit the window, is running becomes false, goes out and quits Pygame. If you do not put these lines, these three lines inside this, it will not quit correctly. And I will show you now what happens if you don't have that. You see the window is here. It seems to work, but you see this thing, this circle running. If I try to click it, you see that it doesn't quit immediately. I have to force it to quit because there is some kind of error for Pygame. And instead, if you uncomment this, you see, and you use the code that I just tell you, you see that we can click it and close it very nicely. Okay, in here also get update. It will go to this function here. It will do for every frame, so continuously. It will update the buttons and draw on the screen eventually the button and update the display. If you are asking what this button are, why these buttons here is useful to watch, to see the button bleed on the screen without bleeding it directly. You will see that these buttons here, if you go into this other module, there is code. As you have seen, I call this one from button import everything. So if you go into this script, this module as we call it, you see that we get these buttons here. This is the name of this object. There is a Pygame.sprite group. So this is a list of sprites that at the beginning is empty and can be filled with sprites. And the button is created as it was a sprite, because it's inheriting from Pygame.sprite. As this button object, this button class is inheriting from Pygame.sprite, we can use groups and like this, with this line buttons.add. This is a method of the group object here. It has this method to add sprites to its list. So I do buttons.add self, and self is the button, the instance of the button. There is also a sprite. It has all the methods and the attributes of the class sprite. So we can practically add a sprite that in this case it's a button. It's the shape of the button, the image of the button, let's say so, into this list. So as we have created the button this way, making it be practically a sprite, it's just like the sprites of the video games that you can move around, etc. And this button is just like a sprite that has been put into this list of sprites buttons. So into the while loop, we can show the sprite with this update that goes here, with this button.update, because once we put into the sprites into a group, we don't have to update every sprite to show them moving onto the screen. We can just update the group, and this will animate, this will update and show on the screen every sprite of group. So it's very helpful, very useful. So you get to write just two lines, button.update. This update method, it's useful when you want the sprite to move, or in this case the button to be highlighted when the mouse goes over it. So it must you must have the ability to check continuously if the mouse is over the button, so that you want to change the color of the button, showing that the mouse is on the button, to the effect, the classic effect that you see when you hover the mouse into a web page, for example, or in an app. It's very common use. But you also have to do buttons.draw screen to tell the computer to draw the button on the screen to make it visible. In fact, let's see if we don't. You see here, we don't see the button. And yeah, let's uncomment this. Now you see the button. You see for sometimes, okay, for some time you cannot click on the X button because the text is being converted into speech, and into this process there is a little pause. The more the text is long, the more the pause will be, and you cannot close the window in that moment, in that period. And in the next video, we'll try to solve this problem together, you live. For in this video, I'm just showing you how this program works, and for the moment we will leave the things as they are. Just want to show you how it works. We have commented this line. Let's comment these other lines to see the difference. You see now we get the button here, but it doesn't highlight because we do not update it. It's like draw it and never update. Draw it one time. If we click on it, we see if it works, but it doesn't, because it's the update also that checks. Let me show you into the button.py code this thing. It's into this update function you see here that it goes to check self.hover and self.click, because if you, okay, so here we go and check if the mouse is over the button to change the color. You see here, maybe we will explain this in another video, and then checks also if it's clicked. So if the mouse it's over the button, it changed the color with this function here, with this method. And with this one, instead, it launches the command that will make some action. Okay, so the action is to convert the text to speech. So this is why we need update, because if we command this, if we don't use this button update, what will happen that we will still have the draw function of the group to show the image, but we will use the update default method of the group that does not contains the action that we want to do, because these actions here to change the color and to make something happen when it's clicked, it's a code that we have made for our purposes that are specific purposes that we want to make, and not be the default purposes of the group of the group object, because the group object is made to put the sprite all into the same list and update them and draw them on the screen. But if you want to update them and make them do something special, you have to override the update method of the group with the update method of your sprite, that in our case is button. So we have overridden the update method, letting the computer do this in every frame, check if there is a mouse over the sprite to change the color, and eventually if we click on the sprite. When we are over the button, it will do an action. You see here that we haven't saved this file, so it doesn't. Okay, now it works. See here now that this is the over method in that it's called every time from the update method. And you see it, the over method is useful to change. It goes and substitute the color. We will show that in another video. So, but I am not clicking here, but is also checking if I'm clicking it, because every frame, if I click, it will do something. Now let's check what will happen if I click it. I click it, now it's converting the text into speech, and now it's playing it. And I can also close it, but that is this little pause when it's converting the text that we want to deal with in next video. I will check live to see if I'm able to solve the problem. Probably I wanna have intention to do it looking for how to make the threading threads, how they're called. I'm not very used to use it, but we will try to do it live, so as a problem solving kind of video tutorial. And so that's all for the moment. This is pretty it's usable code, because you know everything you want to make into this, it will say it. Let's make it just an example. The shorter this is, the shorter will be the pause that you see into the window of Pygame. And let's change language. For example, let's get back into English. This is the default one, so you don't even need to put this N here after the comma. But let's try to say see ya in the next video. Let's make it not so long so that you will see that it will be faster as a result. You see here that I just can click it really. One cool thing that we could do is that if press more times, we could use some tricks to save some time. But because if the text is the same, we could just go and don't do these parts here, but just go and play the sound. So, but we should check if the text is the same as before. So maybe we could, I don't know, just put in some last text equal nothing, and then go here and do if last text is equal text, it's not equal text, it has to do all this thing like always. Let's see if it works, or the variable, okay, work. And now else it should just do this. And okay, let's do this. It just have to do this. Let's see if it works just without the else. So I guess let me print something here so that we are sure that first new text. We are sure that it doesn't go here the second time. It's you see new text. Okay, it didn't work. And let's put the global class text. Maybe this is the problem. Okay, because I forgot just one thing, just one little simple thing. That is latest text equal text. Yeah, and maybe I can put it down here. Yes, the sound. Something. Okay. Let's sound equal. Let's leave it to known. And sound, okay. Let's see if it works now. Wait a second, no. Okay, we need it to be good. I think also. Let's see if it gives me an error with sound. So this, put this to global. Okay, so as you see now that it goes into here just first time, and the other times it plays, so this will save some time to, so it will not go in internet to do it again. If you go and do this and use the same text, if the text is different, of course it must go up in internet and do it again. So I think this it could be useful, not just at the moment with just some short text, but if you wanna grow this code, make something different, it works. Okay, so let's get the moment where this is. I think I could put this into a GitHub repository that I will call SpeakPic. And yes, you will find it there so that you can copy the get the text without having to write everything and forget or make some changes wherever you want. See you next time. We are here, that's 30 minutes. I don't think I'm gonna cut anything on this video because it takes too long maybe. And so, I don't know, put it at double speed, do wherever you want, or follow it as it is. And see you in the next video where we are going to solve this problem of trying to make a thread, to make it, while it's converting the audio, the text to speech, it can also, you can also close a window without having that having be unable to close it while it's making this conversion, because if the text is long, maybe you want to close the window, and you can do it properly if without a thread. I think. See you and bye.